Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth video as a part of the training videos on filling up and submitting the Data Governance Quality Index second edition self-assessment questionnaire via the DGQI portal. In this series of videos, we are giving a walkthrough of the portal and explaining how different sections are to be answered by the various ministries and departments. In this video, we'll explain how to answer Part A, Section C, Action Plan of the questionnaire. So we go on Add Part A button. As you can see, the third section within Part A is C, Action Plan, and we'll now give you a quick overview of how to answer the questions that have been mentioned in this section. The first question is about whether the ministry has framed an action plan to improve its data preparedness levels, as all the ministries and departments have been directed to do so. The ministries are to answer this by either selecting yes or no. If they select no, then there is no other question for them to answer and they can move to the next section. However, if they have developed an action plan and they select yes, then there are some more questions for the ministry or department to answer. Moving to the next question. The next question is about the sections of the action plan. So it asks whether the action plan has all the sections as per the outline which was shared with all the ministries and departments by DMEO NITI Aayog. The ministries can select yes, no, or partially, depending on how much they have followed the outline. If they have completely followed the outline, yes. If they have not at all followed the outline, no. And if they have if they have partially followed the outline, that they have considered some sections, but they have not considered some sections in their action plan that they have developed, they can select partially. When they select partially, you are requested to mention and explain how this partial coverage has been ensured. The next question is about the exhaustiveness in terms of the inclusion of CS/CSS schemes. So it asks whether the action plan includes all the CS/CSS schemes of the ministry or not. If the ministry has included all their schemes, they can select yes. If they haven't included any of their schemes, they have to select no. And if it has been partially included, that they have included some schemes of the ministry in their action plan and not some, then they can select partially. If they select partially, they have to mention which schemes are not included. It would also be better if you can explain the reasons why they have not been included in the action plan. Please note that this question is about whether these schemes have been included or not included in the action plan, not about whether you're filling up this self-assessment questionnaire for them or not. The next question is asking whether clear timelines for each action point that you have identified under the strategy, is that also documented as a part of the action plan or not. So ministries are to select yes if every action point that they have documented has a corresponding month and year timeline by which it is to be completed, clearly documented in the action plan. If no, then it has to be no. If they have not done this, then no. And if they have done this for some task and not for other action points, then they can select partially, again with details on why the same has been done and how. The next question is about responsibilities. So the ministries have been asked here whether the responsibilities for each action point have been clearly allocated to some personnel or division for ensuring action on these points. So ministries are to select yes if every action point in their action plan is mapped to a unit or personnel within the ministry by whom this action point it is expected to be completed, and this is clearly documented in the action plan. If these responsibilities have not been mentioned, then the ministries are to select no. If it has been done for some action points and not for others, then the ministries are to select partially and explain how they have done this and also why. Finally, the ministries are requested to upload the action plan against which they have provided all this information in PDF format. They can choose a file from the desktop, upload it, and the file will get uploaded here. The next point is on the action points as mentioned in the action plan. So after the ministry has prepared this action plan, each and every action point that has been written in this action plan, some details need to be added on those action points here in this table. So some default information has been added already. What the ministry needs to do is they need to enter their scheme name. Then they have to enter the theme. For example, if it was data generation against which the action point has been written, the specific action point, for example, if it was increasing granularity via xyz method, then a description of this action point in detail, the expected completion date by which this is expected to be completed. Let's say this was expected to be completed by 10th February 2022. And the current status of this, whether it is still pending to be started, whether it is in progress, or it has been already completed. Let's say it is right now pending. And then you select on Save or Add Action Points button. The description is mandatory. So you select Save or Add Action Point button, and it gets added over here. Similarly, you have to add all the action points that have been mentioned in your action plan in this format, along with their expected completion date and their current status. You can also edit them or delete them later on. The reason we have this is that a compliance scoring on the basis of the same will be also used for the scoring purposes. So that's all for part A, section C of the questionnaire. In order to know more about part A, section D of the questionnaire, please refer to the next video. Thank you.